Good evening. Phil Lindeman, Krystal, 93 News. A standoff in Dillon Valley ended peacefully just moments ago when a wanted felon surrendered to sheriff's deputies. Summit Sheriff Jamie Fitzsimons.
Sheriff's deputies responded there about 11:30 this morning. The report of a suspect we have been looking for, wanted on numerous felonies, and it was reported to be in a unit in Dillon Valley there and possibly armed.
Deputies were forced to lock down Dillon Valley Elementary School for more than 5 hours. Students are now safely evacuated. The suspect is a local man. There were no hostages. Charges are pending. Firefighters and hazmat are still cleaning up the wreckage at exit 205, where a tanker truck rolled over this morning after skipping the runaway ramp on eastbound I-70. That tanker was carrying several thousand gallons of non-toxic, emulsified oil. Every ounce has to be drained before the tanker is moved. Silverthorne Police Chief John Miner.
If you try to roll it over while full, one, it's a heavy lift on the tow trucks. Two, there's a possibility that tanker, the actual tanker itself, could crack in two.
The closest machinery to pump that oil was coming from Cheyenne, Wyoming. The tanker narrowly missed hitting 2 other vehicles. The driver is now in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. This is the third runaway accident at exit 205 since March 2021, and the first with a tanker spill. Chief Miner says it could have been worse.
Some of the toxic materials that do get hauled on our rolls have a 5-mile radius evacuation zone.
This tanker was allowed through the tunnels when US 6 at Loveland Pass closed this morning for avalanche work. Talks are ongoing with CDOT, the county, and the town to let hazmat through the tunnels regularly. But ask Chief Miner, and he says,
but if you can imagine a 5-mile radius of evacuation at the I-70 interchange and imagine what that would do to our communities, that's just unpalatable to me.
Coincidentally, county commissioners had a scheduled meeting with CDOT this morning where the rollover was the elephant in the room.
When there's a crisis occurring like that, the guy in the truck probably isn't reading signs and understanding, hey, don't take the exit.
That was Grant Anderson with CDOT. He says they are getting creative to prevent runaways and protect road crews.
We're considering things we probably wouldn't have considered in the past, like daytime work hours, doing lane restrictions that actually create moderate congestion coming downhill so that trucks can't just free ride down the hill.
As for talks with the trucking industry, those are ongoing, especially for hazmat through the tunnels. A woman is on the run in Breckenridge, accused of 5 crimes last Friday, including assault on a police officer, resisting arrest, and car theft. According to records, she ran from the cops. In court right now is Norman Elverum, accused of attempted sex assault for offering sex and drugs to a 14-year-old local girl. Elverum is charged with 2 felonies and 2 misdemeanors, carrying up to 8 years or more in jail. He has not yet entered a plea. Tonight at 6 is a town hall meeting about fentanyl and the impact this drug is having on Summit in the wake of the opioid crisis and crackdown. Public Health Director Amy Wineland.
In the state of Colorado, preliminary data shows that we had 46 children die from overdoses last year in the age group of 10 to 18, and 35 of those involved fentanyl. 3 of 4
local overdose deaths so far this year in Summit were caused by fentanyl. That meeting is tonight, 6 o'clock at Summit High School. Breckenridge Town Council hears a pitch tonight for shareable e-bikes next summer. This pilot program is grant-funded, supplying several dozen e-bikes at stations between the golf club and the ice rink. Council is concerned about safety and litter from e-bikes left lying in the streets. Staff says they can solve these problems. They point to Vail and Avon, where a similar e-bike program gets going this month after a successful pilot last year. In sports, the Rockies play the Giants tonight at 7:45. And in local sports, brought to you by Red Mountain Autos at their new location in Breckenridge. Summit High Baseball is playing at Frisco Peninsula right now, hosting Basalt for the one and only home game of the season. Tune in for scores tomorrow. Phil Lindeman, Krystal, 93 News.